Let's talk about traditions. You know, those quirky, fun events all around the world that seem to prove we're all still capable of having a good time. Today, we're going to dig into the source material behind a couple of these and decode what's really going on. And at first glance, they're just that: quirky, harmless, fun. They're these amazing little reminders of our shared humanity, right? Just silly festivals and weird competitions that bring people together to laugh. They really do seem like the perfect escape from our serious, complicated world. So yeah, fun, harmless traditions. But is that all there is to it? Let's take a slightly closer look.
Or maybe not. What if, according to the source we're looking at, they're actually just proof that we've gotten really good at putting a fresh coat of paint on our own barbarism? The argument here is that if you just scratch the surface, these aren't just fun and games at all.
Okay, first up, we're heading to Finland for the annual Wife-Carrying World Championship. It looks like this incredible spectacle of strength, agility, and, you'd think, teamwork.
So the popular perception is that it's this heartwarming display of a couple working together. But the source material we're analyzing, it suggests a much darker reality. That this is actually a ritualistic reenactment of a home invasion. Yeah. So where on earth does an idea like that come from? Well, the whole sport is supposedly based on the legend of a guy named Ronkanen the Robber from back in the 19th century. In one version of the story, he'd test his gang of thieves by making them carry these giant, heavy sacks. But there's another version, a more chilling one, where he made them go steal women from the nearby villages, literally carrying them off on their backs. And the source argues this isn't some tiny footnote, it's the actual foundation of the entire event. And when you start looking at the rules through that lens, suddenly the details get a little disturbing. The wife has to be over 17, with a minimum weight of 49 kilos. But here's the real kicker. It doesn't actually have to be your wife. The official rules apparently say, and I'm quoting here, the neighbors will do. The source basically frames these not as rules for a fun game, but as the specifications for a successful kidnapping. Now, to really understand the final and maybe most damning piece of this argument, we need to know this term, commodification. It's just a fancy word for the process of treating a person or a thing like a simple commodity, like a bag of flour or a barrel of oil. Just an object. Keep that in your head for a second. Because the grand prize for winning this thing, it's the wife's weight in beer. According to our source, this is the final perfect act of that commodification. The woman isn't a partner in a race. She's a unit of measurement. She is a living, breathing counterweight for lager, all in celebration of a dark past where your strength was measured by how heavy a woman you could steal.
Okay, let's switch gears and head to our next case study. We're going to Gloucestershire, England, for the world-famous cheese rolling festival at Cooper's Hill.
And what do you know, we've got two very different ways to look at this, too. The common perception, it's just a bit of completely bonkers, harmless fun. But the reality presented in our source material, it's a dangerous pagan sacrifice. Right off the bat, that word harmless gets a little shaky when you look at the facts. That wheel of cheese, it can hit speeds of up to 70 miles per hour. That's highway speed. To put it in perspective, back in 1997 alone, 33 people were injured. People walk away, or more accurately, get carried away, with broken bones and concussions all the time. It's pretty much the opposite of harmless. And this is what they're all risking life and limb for. A solid 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese, basically bouncing and careening violently down an insanely steep hill. So the source's theory goes like this. This isn't actually a race to win cheese. The argument is that the tradition has deep pagan roots, and originally it was a ritual to ensure a good harvest where they would roll burning bundles of brush and wood down the hill. But now, the theory says, instead of burning brush, they roll a dairy product, and the people offer their own bodies as the real sacrifice.
And this quote from this source just sums up their whole take brilliantly. It calls the event a collective offering to some ancient cheese-obsessed hill god. The idea is that these competitors aren't racers, they're worshippers, hurling their bodies down a cliff hoping that their tribute of shattered ankles might please some great dairy deity in the sky. So after walking through these two examples, the source kind of zooms out and asks a much bigger question. What are we really celebrating with all these traditions?
And this is it. This is the final, pretty sobering thesis. That maybe humanity's favorite pastime isn't actually having fun. Maybe it's finding new and increasingly creative ways to pretend we're not still the same violent, superstitious animals we have always been. It's a powerful and, yeah, pretty cynical thought.
Which, of course, leaves us with the source's final, lingering question, just dripping with irony. So, who's up for some cheese?